We are live.
So, Dr. Sampath, glad to meet you. Have been waiting. We have been waiting. I shouldn't say I have been waiting. We have been waiting to talk to you about many things, but primarily, you already know what the topic is. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll get going.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anandi, and thank you for inviting me. I just want to give a brief background of mine, why I'm interested in politics, or how I got into Republican Party, which is very unusual because you hardly see maybe 15-20% of Indian Americans are in the Republican Party. Majority of them, 80%, are Democratic Party. I thought that will explain why I joined and how it happened. That way, people know about me in the Republican Party. Before I came to US in 1970s, I was politically active in India as well. I was president of a Karnataka University Students' Union, and we stayed in Dharwad, Hubli. I don't know whether you know that place.
Yes, I'm from.
You're from Karnataka? Okay. So I'm from, I was studying in KMC Hubli. So
okay.
I happened to be president of Karnataka University Students' Union. I got involved, I was forced to get involved because of Mahajan Commission, which was initiated by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi to decide on the border issue between Karnataka and Maharashtra, whether Belgaum should join Karnataka or stay there or move to Maharashtra. So Mahajan Commission then in 1974 decided that Belgaum should stay in Karnataka and Solapur should go to Maharashtra, which was, he's a big judicial Supreme Court judge, retired. So having his verdict was not liked by many in the cabinet of Mrs. Gandhi, including Y.B. Chauhan, then the defense chief minister, who was a very powerful entity in those years. So having led a students' union in Karnataka for a year, I was known all over Karnataka. Even the chief minister will come and stop at my hostel room and say hello to me. We were that got involved in the border politics. So in 1975, all the MPs in Karnataka wanted me to meet Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who was the prime minister then, and convince her that we should accept Mahajan Commission as is and should not have any changes. So they wanted a student leader to go and talk to her. So I had an opportunity to meet Mrs. Gandhi in her house. We were there for 2 hours. And, I was very young. Maybe I was a little bit forceful. But anyway, it led to argument for 2 hours between me and her. Of course, I had 20 MPs from Karnataka sitting across the table. But then she threatened me that if I don't listen to her, I may be in big trouble, including going to imprisonment and so many things, because Ramkrishna Hegde and all were in jail that time, who was the almost deputy chief minister of Karnataka. And Virendra Patil was the chief minister. And then they all decided that instead of me going through imprisonment, I better leave India. So I had a fellowship at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, Maryland. Then I packed up in 3 months and I left India. That's how my political life started. Then when I came, and I was in Baltimore, I was in Washington University in St. Louis, then UAB in Birmingham. Then for good, I moved to Jackson, Mississippi. Probably I'm the first Indian American to come to this state. It was about 48 years ago. So I'm still there in the same place. So there I developed friendship with the local leadership, the governor and other leaders. And what happened in Mississippi was 200 years they had a they had Democratic Party for 200 years in Mississippi. But in the 1978, they changed, somehow it got changed to Republican Party. So the whole state became a Republican, including the legislature, governor, everybody. So I happened to meet the governor. Well, because I'm politically active and I made friendship. I gave a big donation to the party. And that time, Jimmy Carter was the president.
Ah.
Yeah. So I wanted to meet him because out of respect, because his mother was a Peace Corps volunteer in India. I thought very highly of somebody going from here. US president's mother being in India as a Peace Corps volunteer. So I met him. But anyway, so I had a pleasure of meeting him. I met almost 6 presidents of US and 6 prime ministers of India in my life. So I have all those memories and pictures. So apart from that, why I became a Republican 48 years ago, that is the reason. And since then, I am in the Republican Party, and I have attended 6 national conventions as a delegate. That gave me a lot of clue and entry into the party. I even attended just last month. I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to attend RNC convention. So I had a pleasure of meeting President Trump and Vance, his wife, all the people I met in Milwaukee. I had a dinner with them. But what I'm is,
you met the people that are important.
Yes. I mean, I just wanted to tell my story, how I became a Republican, why I'm in that. They also, appreciate not many Indian Americans. Probably I'm the only Indian American even in Mississippi. And there may be few here and there, but we prominent Republican, I'm the only one there. So I have I've been in the White House, worked with George W. Bush. I am the first Indian American to visit the White House to see George H. Bush, his father. So there, to enter the White House, you have to pay $10,000 to meet him. So I did pay, and I wanted to meet him. So that's how we started. But they became good friends, family friends. George Bush and the Governor Bush from Florida, and George Bush's son also, he's in touch with me even today. I'm in their few in friend circle. I get invitation every 3 months to attend his events. But so that's how I'm in the Republican Party, and I try to connect with Prime Minister Modi many times when he is here or when I'm in India. So actually, when he became a prime minister, I got the award, Pravasi Bharati Award, within few months of his prime ministership, because he knew. We tried to help him when his visa was cancelled. Me and my friend Dr. Desai, we met about 30 congressmen and senators to revoke his visa of cancellation. I spent about a week to 10 days in Washington. We met, of course, we didn't meet President Obama was the president then, but we tried to muster congressional help to get his visa back. But anyway, that time he was a Gujarat chief minister. He used to follow what is happening to his visa and things like that. So he came to know who I am and who Dr. Desai was. So he was in touch with us, even though he was the chief minister of Gujarat. So that's how my contact with Modi ji started those years in the 80s. So coming back to why I differ with Kamala Harris, I'm the first Indian American to explain to the press, to the media, or to the public why she is not favoring India or Indian Americans. Even Modi, when he came 2 years ago, Washington, to the White House, I was there, and he invited Mrs. Harris to come to India, spend some time, because she always claims her grandfather was very close to her in Chennai, and she has visited Chennai. Then she never, in 4 years, she never went near India. She went all over the world except India. What does it tell you? Actually, India Today had interviewed just last week, and they were impressed the way I told them. Why would she be claimed to be Indian American? If she says she's an Indian American, what percentage of votes is going to get in the US? Maybe 1.5%. That's all we make, Indian Americans. And if she says she is African American or Black American, she gets 20 to 25% of votes in the US, and which this was very much well taken in Indian media. And naturally, she will hesitate, or she doesn't want to identify as Indian at all. That's my theory. And I think it makes sense. If I were running for president and I'm going to get 25% of the votes, so I would go where the votes are. And many
But doctor,
times,
let me cut you there for a minute. I mean, I understand what you're saying. 25% of the votes roughly turns out to be about 75, 80 million people. On the other
yes,
hand, percent is about what? About not even 3 million.
but voting will be 1.5%. That's what I gather.
Okay,
Statistics.
so 1.5.
Yeah. I mean,
What
Indian
a very
Americans voted.
significant.
Yeah, out of that, many vote for Democrats, and the Republican will split. But Trump being very close to India, and he cares
No, the
for India.
question. Let me just complete my question, doctor.
Oh, sorry, sir, go ahead.
Even then, you see, you're looking at about 74% of the population that is probably not African American or of Indian origin. Okay. She still has to get at least 30% of that population. Is she now going to call herself Caucasian too?
No, but no. Anyway, there is democratic follow-up there. They don't care whether it is black, white, or Indian or non-Indian. They have a bunch of democratic votes. They will vote party-wise. They don't go by the religion, caste, or their appearance. She's going to get those votes. But these are definite votes. If she says Indian, she is going to get 2%, maybe 1.5%. If she is African American, now what is her strength today? Because she is saying she's African American, whole black community is behind her. The moment she says she is not African American, I doubt she only get 5% votes from African Americans. She has to look after her, what it makes her to be a president of the United States. And tell me if this is not correct.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. See, even Pooja Shali, who's the editor in India Today, she took a special notice of it, and she said, "We never heard such a argument. You have put such argument. We like it." She told me. I said, "Okay, thank you." But this I have told 5 years ago, when she was even being considered for a vice president post. And many Indian magazines, newspapers, were there asking me. I said, one thing you remember, she will never herself identify as Indian American or anything to do India. Of course, she has mentioned about she visiting Chennai, her grandfather was very close to her and all that. But she never said she is a part Indian, partial Indian, or she has any connection with India. She never mentioned. Has she done anything? Has Biden or Kamala Harris, have they done one thing to India or Indian Americans? Nothing. Zero. Even, this is the newest theory just coming out of India and Bangladesh. I think it is big news in India. Biden was trying, why Sheikh Hasina was lost because of US intervention in Bangladesh. They wanted a space in Bangladesh, which he refused to give. He wanted to have a base in Bangladesh, in that area. And Hasina refused to give, and she was brought down by international politics plus American influence, who they have. So they brought Nobel laureate, of course, he's a smart man, but I don't know how much politics he really knows, what his connections are with India. Modi ji, I think, when he sent him a congratulatory letter, he mentioned, please save Hindus in Bangladesh. That was his main idea. Why Hindus? There are only left when Bangladesh happened, there were only 21% there were Hindus. Today there are 7% Hindus. Where did the 14% go away? I mean, they just dispersed, killed, or gone. And that's happening, being repeated now. I think I'm not saying I'm a Hindu, I want to do it. I want justice. It should be right to everybody. Why Hindus were taken apart and all the temples have been vandalized. Hindus have been killed and being killed today as well. Now she's in India. I was told she made a statement that she didn't say Biden, but she said US wanted a base in Bangladesh. She refused to give, and that's why she got this result of expelling her out of Bangladesh. I hope is it true or not, I'm not sure, because I don't have any proof to say either way. But this is the news going in India.
But there's multiple stories going on, Dr. Sampath.
Yeah.
One of the stories that is going on is, and this is kind of far-fetched, but they wanted to break Bangladesh into two countries. One small country for Christians,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to say that.
Mizoram and all the other states.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it a communal. So I just said they wanted space in Bangladesh area. Is it true?
No, it's a story. I can't validate that. No way of
Mm-hmm.
validating it, but that's the
So
rumor that.
yeah, I know Kamala Harris stand in this regard, and she's going to be the presidential candidate, maybe president, who knows? And she has to have some say in this. And
So, question, Dr. Sampath. Seeing how all this hatred, anti-Hindu hatred in Bangladesh is going on. What do you think should be the response from any presidential candidate, be it Trump or be it Kamala Harris?
If Trump comes, I don't think there will be any changes in Bangladesh. Probably he may talk with the Prime Minister Modi and come to some understanding, not to disturb the cohesiveness of Bangladesh with Hindus in Bangladesh and Muslims. This was I just read the newspaper. They said it's all done by U.S. interest. So we don't know whom to believe. I never heard such a story that U.S. is interested in dividing Bangladesh and having a Christian state or country in and around India. And of course, it makes sense for Americans because they have access to whole Asia, because China is next door, Myanmar, India, Bangladesh, and all Afghanistan, Pakistan. They're so close by, and they have a great access if they are successful in getting a part of Bangladesh as a colony of America. I think it makes sense in American way, but I don't know. We are Indian Americans. We have always interest about India. So that's my why Kamala Harris. She never had one press conference since she was chosen as vice presidential candidate, and I have not heard anything positive about. Except now she's saying, see what happened. She was the border czar. She's supposed to protect Mexican border or southern borders. I was told 15 million people came into US. Whose fault is that? She is supposed to be head of that division of border czar, she was called. She never even, she went even maybe once or twice in 4 years. And we have 15, 20 million people with criminal records, rapists, murderers, and millions of people came from not only from Mexico, from all over the world. There were many Indians. They go to Mexico and they travel to US.
True,
I'm not
true.
saying who good, who is bad, but I think why for us, we all came legally. I came on a green card. I'm here. So why somebody has to walk in and be an illegal immigrant in the US? Even as Indian or anybody, I wouldn't like it. It has to be legally, rightly done. And why she was in charge, what she has done with all the 15, 20 million people is not a joke. I mean, how do you get rid of them? President Trump, first thing he's going to do is remove all these illegal immigrants. He's going to push them out of the US. People may not like it, but I think that's good for America. At least you don't have a rapist, murderers, thugs, and with mental illness. There are millions of people coming into US. We don't know what's going to happen to America. We are US citizens.
Very
We want
true.
citizens. That's
Very
my
true.
feeling. Yeah, where is Harris? Has she made any statement? No, I know. I met her. I had lunch with her just a few months ago in the White House. And of course, we never talked about India or Indian Americans. We just I don't think she has. And she's from Chennai. My wife is from Chennai. She's Tamilian. I'm a Kannada. But still, I just mentioned it to her who I am, and of course, she just smiled and we moved on. But I'm just telling you, I don't think she has any feeling for anybody else. Now she suddenly became a presidential candidate. She has so many statements to make. What is her contribution in 6 years? 4 years as a vice president, 2 years as a US senator. Of course, she made some big noise in the US Senate, I know. And besides that, I haven't seen anything she has done in 4 years good of America. Of course, Biden is a strong president. Maybe he didn't let her do anything. But now she is saying she's going to reduce inflation moment she takes over. Inflation, housing, all the petrol, gas prices will come down. Why? Who stopped her doing all this 4 years? Nobody
The
stopped her.
problem is, no, the problem is, see, what she's doing is shooting herself in the foot. Um, she was a vice president.
Yeah.
It wasn't like she was sitting in the Republican Party. She's a Democrat. She was a vice president. Inflation, housing prices, you name it, everything shot up. It was
Yeah.
under her watch.
Correct.
So if she's now claiming that she's going to do that, then the
Mm.
question arises: what was she doing all these years?
That's what my question is.
Yeah, exactly. What was she doing all these years? Secondly, the bigger question is, and this is something that she probably can't answer either. what exactly was, I mean, you said Biden was uh, I forget the word you used, but he was a forceful president of sorts. I think you said something to that effect.
I mean, he's dominant because he
He's
wouldn't
a
let her.
dominant president.
Yeah,
I beg to differ in that regard because I think at his age, Alzheimer's is pretty close to catching up with him. And I'm not trying to make fun of that disease because God forbid anyone should, suffer from that. In that, given that situation, I don't know if anyone really can call him a dominant president or a forceful one. I think he was a president sitting in a chair. Apart from that, all the policies and all the diktats and all the other stuff that was being, the executive orders and all that, I think were being signed by her in the background. I don't know
no,
if you
see,
agree with me.
I mean, no, I gave her benefit of doubt in case Biden said, oh, he wants to have policies and changes. He will be the one, as a president, would be making it. And she didn't want to interfere in his day-to-day affairs. I mean, I was giving her a benefit of doubt why she didn't do it, Uh, she's, if you meet her, she's the nicest person, very friendly and smiling all the time. But I don't think that will lead it to greater America or a greater world. There's not enough. Even her VP candidate, uh, initially I had liked him because he seemed to be a wonderful man, very down to earth. But then I came to know that he was in the army when the time came to go to Iraq war. He dodged it. He did not go. I don't know how many of you know that. If you please
Yes, I
enlighten.
do.
Yeah. So I mean, that is a big sin in the U.S. Political once.
Well,
Look.
see, to be honest, to be fair, Donald Trump also has been accused of the same thing,
I know.
of dodging the draft. But let's
No,
not
no,
get
no.
into that because that
He
could
was
become
already in
a,
the army. What time was already in the army. When the time of him
oh,
departure came, he dodged
he
out.
dodged it.
Yeah, Trump was never in the army. And he didn't
Trump
want
wasn't
to.
in the army. You're right.
Yeah, he was never in the army, but he was, like anybody else, any citizen is entitled for military. Then that he did. I know, but he was not in the army. He didn't. This fellow, I'm told, you can read history, that he dodged going to Iraq. When the time came, he just stayed home. He didn't go. I mean, I
Right.
think that shows his commitment to his nation, his state. With all the due respect, that's what I heard, and that's true too. I mean, I'm not making up a story; it is a real
No,
fact.
I've read about this. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Mike,
So
see, Doctor, let's not let's talk about the candidate, the presidential candidate herself.
yeah, I don't. But no. I'm talking about her. That means she did not make a a good decision on selecting him because why
Yeah,
would she be
fair enough.
considered as a part of
Fair
it?
enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Mike, see the going back to what we were, what we were scheduled to talk about.
Hmm.
Um, Her claiming to be African American when she probably is as far as far away from being African American as I am.
The thing is, her
Um,
father was a Jamaican. Jamaica is not a part of Africa, but he
right.
had black ancestry, so you can give her some benefit of doubt in that regard. Uh, no, but I'm not saying that she can say, like, I'm American, I'm an Indian also. Why can't she say she's African American by father's descent and Indian descent by her mother or her grandfather?
See the
Why? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's gaining political mileage with that, like you
Yeah,
said
that's only
earlier.
reason. Yeah, only
Yeah,
reason.
like you said
This
that earlier. My
is so.
question is this.
Why,
See,
please?
uh, her father was African American, yes. What I've heard is that he abandoned both his
I know
wife
that.
and daughter at a very early age. So to still insist that she's African American from with a father that abandoned her.
Jamaica is not Africa. Jamaica is not part of
Well,
Africa. Of course, he is in ancestry maybe African, coming from Africa. I don't know. We don't know. But no. What I'm saying is, she is using that African American vocabulary for her benefit,
of
not.
course, of course.
That's a, that's what I'm saying. I confronted her dozen times to say at least one time, as in any closeness to India or Indian Americans. Of course, she wants votes. She will say, actually, I get every day. I mean, everybody must be getting how much money she wants. She has raised good amount of money in 3 weeks. She has raised
Yeah,
almost
she
like
has.
$1 million, as
She
much
has.
bigger than President Trump. Even President Trump, if you watched last week, he was on NBC with black press, and he questioned all the black press. He specifically mentioned, is he Indian or she is African American? Nobody could answer that question. Even the press people, they didn't know what to say. I'm sure you all have seen the press conference President Trump had on the black African American press corps. He had a question. He took them to task. And I'm not. She may become a good president. But I'm not questioning. The question of today: why is she refusing to be identified as Indian American or closeness to India or some? Her blood relation is India. She has a definitely even 5% blood is from Indian ancestry. Why would she refuse that? Please tell me.
I'm not sure why she's refusing that or why she's denying, or no,
Yeah,
not denying,
I know that's what I'm
why
saying.
she's hiding, why she's
Yeah,
hiding it. But that being said, my question, see, if you remember the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, when he came to the US last year, I think it was
yeah,
last year,
they're in the
and
White
addressed
House.
the US Congress.
Yeah,
He addressed the US Congress.
yeah,
At
yes,
that
yes.
time, he mentioned that,
Before that,
many
he
Indian
invited even.
Americans
Mm,
Indian Americans had
yeah,
made contributions to America, including the person sitting right behind me. And sitting right behind him was Kamala Harris.
no, I'm
And
saying
she,
yeah. Yes,
she
he has
started
a
laughing.
table, yeah, on the chairs he was sitting.
Yeah, she
But
was sitting in the chair.
no. There was a lunch, state lunch offered by her. So I was invited, and then I went to the State Department lunch. Uh, Secretary of State and herself hosted a lunch for Prime Minister Modi. He again repeated his invitation. Please come to India, at least visit for a day. She would not say a word. She will go or she will not go. She is made up her mind to be out of Indian context anywhere. And this is my feeling, but I want to be
See,
wrong.
I mean, look, I understand what you're saying, Doctor. Believe me, I do. But my contention is this: he is not going to be the president of India. He's going to be the president of the United States. So she has to look after the people that are going to be potentially voting for her, which is the American people.
No, I agree. What is wrong in visiting India for a day or
No,
two?
there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong in that. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to give her the benefit of doubt in this case by saying that she's probably looking at this whole thing saying,
That,
I have to.
that is my theory 6 years ago about her, about why she doesn't want to say Indian American or Indian or anything to do with India. That is my theory. I was the one who took all the shouting and brickbats. Having said that, I hope she will change. But having seen in the last 3 weeks, there is no change about her attitude towards India. This is my feeling. Of course, she wants donation from you, but she has nothing to do anything else besides that. And her people called me. Oh, in India, some Indians also calling me to give a donation. See, when George W. Bush was the president, I invited him to come to Jackson, Mississippi. I hosted a lunch for him in Jackson, Mississippi. He came as the president of the United States. That time, I had some demands, and he should go to India and declare. See, the other thing, the civil nuclear treaty, who did it? The President George W. Bush, a Republican president, did it. I just want to tell you, I went with President Clinton because I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. He's from Little Rock, Arkansas, which is 50 miles away from me. So I knew him. So I went with him to India when he was visiting India. Vajpayee was the prime minister at that time. He spoke to both the houses in India. And in the parliament, people were asking him a question because there was he had put a treaty against India. America will not support India because of the nuclear explosion Vajpayee did. So he was banned India to be part of US and everything. So somehow we convinced him, we were staying in the Mayur Hotel. And then he agreed in parliament, he made a statement that moment he goes back to US, first thing he will do is he will remove all the sanctions against India. But he never did it. And of course, he had only 6 months left in his presidency. He never did it. Who took the, ultimately, we convinced President George W. Bush. When he became president, the sanctions against India were removed by him, George W. Bush, not President Clinton. He promised in the parliament in India that moment he goes to US, he will make sure the sanctions are taken off. And so who did the civil nuclear treaty? Again, Republicans. George W. Bush brought the treaty. Otherwise, it was historical treaty in the history of US. So what I'm saying is Republicans are more friendly. They may not show, but they have delivered. That's what I'm saying. At least Trump, good or bad, within 3 years, he went to India. He went to Ahmedabad, Delhi, all those places. And, he was much more friendlier than Biden never even look at India. So if you compare the relation between US parties, Republicans have been always favorable to India.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Well,
content.
Mr. Patnaik, do you have any questions?
Okay, coming back to, I'm ready to speak. Hello, Dr. Sampath.
Yes,
I'm from Arizona. I'm coming back to Miss Harris. So,
you're a great candidate. McCain was one of the best friends for India. Also, I was his campaign manager when he ran for a presidency. He was in Mississippi. He was wonderful human being.
I met him during when you were talking about the sanctions against India after we went nuclear. So one word he said was, even your mother doesn't give you milk until you cry. So because he was like at the time in 98, 99, he was saying that we Indians are very quiet, so we don't like make like shout. And coming back to Miss Harris, so usually I don't use her first name Kamala because she dissociated with India and Hindus. In Arizona, the recent ads of her was like putting her like early childhood, where like her mother was like taking care of her with a bindi on her face and all when she was young, because she's like, yeah, actually she's catering for Indian votes here, because the difference between Trump and Biden was just 10,000 votes here. So because she the votes from blacks are like minor, like about like 4 to 5% only here in Arizona.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
she
15,000 people came to hear her speech, I was told. Just last week.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Even my daughter wanted to go there. So, like, yeah, to for her the speech.
He is 4% ahead of Trump as of today. Her voting
Yeah, but like 2 weeks ago, Trump was up here by like 7%, because I officiated in the primary elections here. One thing I observed is suddenly the independents are tilting towards Democrats, because like they're hoping. See, there are a lot of Latinos, so they are anchoring for like kind of like an open, not like open border. So there are like a lot of people who doesn't have proper accreditation in this U.S. So she might give a pathway to citizenship or something like that. That's why suddenly the Latinos are kind of tilting to her.
I agree with you, possible, because she is the reason why we have 15, 20 million illegal immigrants in the US. She is the reason.
Exactly right.
So, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, and also like when she was the unofficial candidate for the Democratic Party, they first used the word like like Asians, like then now like slightly tilting towards South Asian. So they removed the word Asian, South Asian. Like even initially they used the press used the word Asian and like Indian. Now like the word completely like even the press and her like handlers removed the word Indian. Like now they're calling South Asian, so that way she can get the votes of like Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, like the associated people. So basically they're like targeting like how to get the 10,000, like, yeah, get hold of the 10,000 the vote difference.
Even majority of the Indian Americans are going to vote for him. So I'm not under illusion or delusion that they are going to vote Republicans. Whether they like
So
or
my
not,
question to you,
they will vote for her as a
my question
Democrat.
to you, doctor.
Sorry.
Sorry, there's an echo. Just one. My question to you, doctor. The Indian population that you said, or you said you were not under any illusions that would they be voting for the Democratic side. What do you think is the reason for that?
No. We are more closely associated earlier years with John Kennedy, Carter. I think we are have more affinity towards Democratic background, and Clinton, Carter, Kennedy. They're all big. Especially John F. Kennedy was a big hero worldwide, and he had a close relations with Nehru. You have seen in my house in India, Kennedy and Nehru's picture is in the puja room, just next to God. They were being worshipped by my mother. So they were treated They had even President Johnson, Carter, Kennedy. There are more democratic influence in India than the Republicans. Republicans were never, to be honest with you, they were never close to India at all. Now, since
No,
George
I
was,
understand. Republicans were never close to India when, what's his name, Richard Nixon
yeah,
was
Nixon,
around. Because Nixon was probably one president that alienated all the Indians.
exactly.
I agree with that part.
Yeah.
But my question is this. See, when you look at a typical Indian family, and when I say typical, I'm talking about the Hindu families. They generally go in, at least today, as right-wing BJP followers. Okay,
Yeah,
to a significant extent.
yeah.
A significant extent.
Is even in the US, now who are the majority?
No. Let me complete my question.
Go ahead.
See, when you see the typical Hindu family in the US, they are going to be talking about BJP in India. But when it comes to the US politics, they all of a sudden turn left and become leftist. So going from right wing in the Indian context to the left wing in the American context, doesn't it sound hypocritical?
The Republicans have not left a good trade in India. That is the issue. Like as I told you, these 4 Democratic presidents I mentioned, they had a deep connection with India. Socially, they tried to help India. Financially, things like that. But Republicans never participated in that system. So we Indians, we always see when I came to US, what I tell you, when President Carter came to Jackson, Mississippi, I left everything to see him because I had so much reverence for Democratic president and Democrats those years in 1970s. So we are we are more prone to democratic. Even today, even Trump went there, but still only 60-70% people still will be voting to a Democratic Party candidate. Only maybe 25-30% maximum. There is I'm giving a high figure. They may vote for Republican even today, in spite of Trump's close relations with India.
I see what you're saying.
So that will continue. Even you come to New York, New Jersey area, where are the largest number of Indian Americans reside in. You ask anybody. My best friends who are millionaires, billionaires. I said, usually rich class supposed to be Republican. The common man is a Democrat. But these people, oh no, we are going to vote for Democratic presidency. I mean, so that is even all my friends from Gujarat. They would, the majority of them make Gujaratis in New York, New Jersey. They all will vote for Democrats. They are voted in New York mayorship or governorship of New Jersey, New York. All the voting come from Indian Americans, majority of them. So Republicans have no chance, maybe under 10, 20 years, to get majority votes from Indian Americans. It's a long way. Even in Jackson, Mississippi, where I am, I would say 80% of, when I think I was telling you, when I came in the 70s, I was the first Indian American to be in Mississippi. Today, we have 10,000 Indian Americans in Jackson, Mississippi. 10,000. Out of
That's a
that,
lot.
60% are Patels. It doesn't matter who it is, but I'm just saying how the things have changed. So,
So, Doctor, let's take a look at the November elections. Let's assume for a minute that, I hope it never happens. Let's assume for a minute that Kamala Harris does become the president. What do you foresee as the first step that she's going to be taking?
I've been having tried to work with her for the last 6 years. I don't have much hope to be friendly with India because I was there during the meeting with Modi ji and her, and actually he almost begged her to come to India. I mean, I was there, and she never went. She went all over the world. She never went to India, never contacted India. She's trying to stay away from India. I don't know what is the reason. Nobody knows.
Could it be because she doesn't want to sound
Yeah,
partial?
Indian. She doesn't want to be sound Indian. I told you, first thing, actually, there was a press corps. I was speaking in India. They were all, when I told why she doesn't want to be called Indian, what would she, whether we like it or not, 70% of the Indian Americans are going to vote for her, irrespective of what she says. Only few of us, like me, a few of one of our audience may not like the idea that she's not seeing Indian American. She doesn't want to say it. Why would she destroy her candidacy by saying for a few votes?
True. Very true. Is Mehul on today?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking to Anand.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have a couple of inputs. See, in the critical states, one is like Arizona, like Georgia, and to a certain extent Pennsylvania. The vote of like Indians will like make a difference. So this is for Republicans, like how they can get those votes. The margin between both of them are like, it's not even like 4 figures anymore. It's like a 3 figures. So like if Republicans somehow can tap into that one, they can win Arizona as well as Georgia, and like because most of the voters, like Hindu voters, are like a recent citizens, so they might like have like a positive tilt towards Republicans. Like in your conversation with the top Republicans, maybe you should stress on that one. See, like how can we tap into one? Because the margin is so close, like in those like states.
See, like I went to Milwaukee last month. I was there for a week, a Republican Party convention. I was the only Indian delegate out of 2,000 delegates all over the country. Why is that? See, we don't want to attempt to be anybody in the Republican Party. I was ashamed. I was the only one delegate for in the entire 2,000 people. And
Dr.
so,
Sampath, I hate to cut you, but I did talk to Sajid Tarar. Sajid Tarar is a Pakistani guy from. He's also from the Republican Party. And when I talked to him, he said he was the only Pakistani there. There were a ton of Indian people. So I'm really kind of surprised that you're saying you were the only.
Guests, they came as a guest, not as a delegates.
No, delegates or guests. I mean, at the end of the day.
No. See, there is you have voting power. to elect a president and vice president candidate. And guests cannot vote. Only the delegates can vote. There is a list
So
of
I
delegates.
understand that part. I understand that part, and it could be easily explained as possibly people that don't uh, have as much influence in the Republican Party as you do.
You have to
But
see when 20 years ago, 24 years ago, I ran for as a delegate from Mississippi. I had to run and win the delegate position. It was not given to me. And so there was election, there was statewide election to elect a delegate for the RNC convention. So that's how I started my life. But Indians don't want to contest. They don't want to contribute. Where are we going with that?
Yeah, that's
yes,
exactly
to
the
that extent,
problems.
I agree.
See, yeah. See,
To
I'm
that
not trying to
extent, I
boast
agree.
myself. I am
No,
the
see, the
donor
thing
in
is,
the
and
Republican
I
Party.
live in New Jersey,
Yeah.
and I can tell you this: many presidential candidates, when they come asking for donations and contributions,
That's the problem.
regardless of which party they belong to, the restaurant will, and I saw one particular restaurant, that's what I'm talking about. One particular restaurant contributed both to the Republican and the Democrat. When I asked them why, they said, I don't know if you understand Hindi,
Yes, I do.
but they said, kisko pata kaun aayega?
I know. I mean, see, Indians, as you see, if you see the donors list, the least amount of donors are of Indian origin.
Right.
And that is our problem. We don't want to part our money, especially political parties, because what do we gain out of donating to the Republican Party and the Democratic Party? That's their contention. See, in America is a capitalist country. Everything starts with the money. Without money, nothing you can do in America.
Yeah.
See, that's the main issue. How many? I think I told you. At least we have 7,000 Gujaratis in Mississippi. I don't know. Maybe one or two people must have given money. I'm not. My son-in-law is Gujarati. So I'm not saying anything against them, but I'm just telling we are not used to parting money. And we may give a donation to temple and Swamiji and all that. But politically, we are not used to. Even in India, how many people give money to any political party in India? Unless you're Ambani or Adani's, you may be giving. Otherwise, common man has no connection, no concept of donating money to any political party.
True.
The only industrialist, why BJP is one of the richest, no, not one of them, why is the richest party in the world, BJP. Where the money comes from? All the industrialists, all the big businesses, they have the money. Common man doesn't know where the money comes from. Only way is we have to educate our people and make them participate in the political system. And see, why I am delegate for 6 times in a row. No Indian has done it. I'm not trying to take a credit, but because I am involved in this, I want to do this. So everybody should come up, oh, I want to be part of system. Then only it's possible.
I agree with what you
Yeah,
said.
I served in 3 White Houses. I was with George W. Bush, Trump. I was appointed him, and Biden could have. I'm the chairman of the National Board of Medicine and Mental Health in Washington. Biden, when he became president, he could have removed me, but he did not. He let me continue. So, yeah. So, unless why I was, because I contributed I'm not saying me, but any every Indian want to participate in politics, it has to start at your wallet. Very, very hard truth. And unless we do that, we can never be in the top class.
I agree with what you're saying. So how do we change the common Indian voter?
Yeah. That's the reason, if I'm in the Republican Party, it's my job to educate other Indian Americans, ask them to join. How can we expand our activities and be part of the system? Unless we are part of the party, unless we donate, we are not going to go anywhere. Democratic Party are not insisting on donation. They want donation, but not as badly as the Republicans. I'm telling you the truth. And unless that changes, it's very hard to get Indians to be in the Republican group. Yeah, you may be surprised, and I'm not trying to boast. I was the highest donor from Mississippi. It came in the national news that I donated so much money to the party. So that's why, I have some little bit of clout in the party because of donation, including the chairman of the Republican Party calls me and talks to me. Why he thinks he likes me or I have special affinity? Money plays a part.
Of course it does.
I think unless we start educating our people, showing the benefit, showing the implications, even for it helps our motherland also, being part of the system. See, when I don't want to say President George W. Bush, when he retired, the Hindustan Times wanted him to come and speak, and they gave him big amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars, made a special plane for him, from Dallas to Calcutta, and they made arrangement for him to go and be the speaker at Hindustan Times 75th anniversary. And the first question I was that, are you willing to donate him? They called me, please help to get George W. Bush as the main speaker. But they were very liberal in donating and making all the arrangements for George W. Bush. And he did the 75th anniversary of Hindustan Times for inauguration. It was a wonderful event.
That's surprising because Hindustan Times itself is a left-leaning.
Yeah, but see, they wanted president of US, so they called me because they knew that I was close to him. Actually, even when he went to India as a president, we pushed him to go to India. But see, he had the civil nuclear treaty, and he had removed all the sanctions against India. He was very much liked in India.
Anand, others, do we have any questions from the listeners?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. They have any questions?
I'm sorry?
No, I don't think so. They have any questions.
Okay. Doctor, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I would like to stay connected with you.
Please, anytime.
I will
I'll be
take
in
your
Washington.
phone number from Anand, from Adarsh.
I'll be in Washington on 26, 27, 28th. I have White House meeting. But if you are nearby, then we can definitely meet for lunch or dinner. And
Sure,
I might go
definitely.
to India also. There's a possibility because we're opening a new cancer hospital in Belgaum,
Oh, I
400 bed,
see.
most modern hospital. I'm donating that hospital to India, and President Murmu is coming to inaugurate
Oh, that's
28th
nice.
August. She'll be there, so I'm going there. But see, the problem in India, see, I talked to Prime Minister Modi ji. I wanted him to come, but she said no. Better invite Murmu. She is the head of the state. It'll be nice for her to come. So we talked to her. She has committed, but I don't have a written confirmation. She's coming
Of
on
course.
28th. Yeah, orally she agreed. And unless I have, if no commitment, she said on 15th she will let us know. And if I'm going to India, then I won't be able to go to Washington. But otherwise, our family we want to go and attend the event. That's
No, let
my
me know
contribution to
either
India.
ways, doctor. If you're coming to DC, then
Yeah,
let me know.
Yeah, I'm already committed. Actually, I'm staying in a residence in Washington, D.C. It's made by White House, all the arrangements. But only thing, because of my India trip to India, if it happens, then I prefer to go to India.
No, so if you're going to India, let me know. This way, whenever you get back from India, we can catch up again.
No, I come every month to Washington. Not an issue
Okay.
with it. Yeah, I'm there every month. 3 days I spend. But remaining time, I do Zoom and other things to connect with the
Okay.
department.
Sure.
I will
Thank you
definitely.
so much, doctor.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
My plan depends upon President Murmu's commitment. So,
Thank
and
you.
how in India people take it so easily. I said I need at least 2 to 3 weeks to make my travel arrangement to India, but they don't care. That's the problem.
Anyway, thank you, doctor.
Thanks so much. I really enjoyed being with all guys. And they are very
Anytime.
knowledgeable. You know the background, so it's much easier to communicate rather than trying to tell to a new person.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.